Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you guys are here again, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. In today's video, like I said, we're going to be making tote bags the first time. This is me kind of just going over the materials that I am using in this video. There are some other materials I did use that I didn't show at the beginning, and I'll kind of talk through why I chose those materials. And yeah, so I'm starting off by ironing my fabric, just trying to get all those like creases out as best as I can. I then go in and just start playing around with the shape. I kind of have a slight idea in my head what I'm looking for, but I just end up playing around until I get happy with the pieces. Once I'm happy with the size and shape of those pieces, I end up putting it against the batting that I initially showed at the beginning of the video. I am using polyester batting, but I'm basically just making sure that it's the exact same size. I did make the batting a little bit larger just because that's my preference when I do like quilting patterns and things like that. I just like to have extra just in case I need to stretch it out or anything. Initially, I then go in with the pins instead of the clips just because of that extra space between the fabric and the batting. Trimming the two pieces here, I decided I wanted to add a pocket for the inside of the bag, so that's what that is. Then I go in and start playing around again with these straps. I wanted to make sure they were thick but not too thick where they could look kind of weird. Once I decided on like the proper placement for the pocket, I then go in with the pins and pin it to the right side of the fabric. This is one of my mistakes here. I put pins on each side of that little pocket square and I sewed down each 4 sides. Obviously you do not do that. The top part you leave open because it's a pocket. So don't do that when you try yours. I then go back to the front and back sides of the bag and make these lines so I can sew it down and give it that quilted, puffy bag look that I'm looking for. And then I measure out a 1.5 by 1.5 kind of square on the corners and cut them out. So once we assemble everything together, we can give it that boxy look at the bottom. Another spot that I messed up on, I made the seam allowance a little too short, so once I flipped the bag out it started to rip a little bit and I had to like adjust it. The adjustment didn't look bad, but it was not what I preferred. Back to the inside of the bag, I put the 2 lining pieces right sides together and pin all the edges except for the top, leaving a good sized gap in between those 2 pins, and that's how you're going to sew them as well. So that little hole you're going to leave in the bottom is actually what we're going to use to flip the bag inside out once we've assembled everything together. So now going back to the straps of the bag, I don't understand why on earth this was so hard for me to grasp, but I had to play around with the measurements so much. I don't know why it was such a struggle with me, but I finally found something I was happy with. So once I was done with that part, I ended up cutting out the same type of measurement in the batting as well, because I wanted to put it on the inside so we can still have that like puffy look that we're going for.
What the dog doing?
Alrighty, so now that you have every single piece of the bag ready, sewed, ready to go, what you want to do is take the outer layer of the bag, flip it inside out. Take the inner layer of the bag with the little pocket, flip it right side out. Once you have that, you can get your straps and situate them with the ends kind of on the outside, kind of like this. Kind of hard to explain what I'm doing here, but I can't explain where I went wrong with this, because as you can see, I am like flipping the ends of the straps instead of just cutting them. I knew they were too long, but I just decided to keep it like that for some reason. I don't know why. If they're too long, just cut them, because then you're gonna see that end piece, that raw end piece of that strap, once the bag is like flipped out and ready to go. Alrighty, now that I got the bag finally flipped inside out, I'm just going along the top just to secure the bag a little bit more. And like I was talking about earlier, if you look at where the straps and the top of the bag meet, you can see how flipping the strap makes it look very sloppy and messy. If you just cut the ends off and just place them how you want them, you won't be seeing the ends of the straps. So after making that first bag, I was absolutely determined to perfect that bag, because there were so many things that went wrong, and I wanted to make sure that I could not only perfect it the best of my ability, but also recreate it as many times as I possibly can. So I got this craft paper from Walmart, literally this whole roll, it was $3. Once I got that, I was able to measure out exactly how I want the bags to fit, so including the straps, the pocket, and the front and the back of the bags, and make these two beautiful bags that I'm absolutely obsessed with. I also ended up having the pocket be double layered just so it's thicker too. That's another thing I wanted to fix from that first bag, but I couldn't because I already sewed it together. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. If you're interested in buying either of these bags, I will be selling them on my Etsy. The link will be in my link tree down in the description below. And I love you guys so much, and have a blessed one.